Scorpio, welcome to your monthly horoscope for March 2024. My name is Adina. I'm an intuitive astrologer, and in this video, I will be going over all of the significant energies for March. So let's get right into it. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. Now, as you can see, I have selected a chart for each week to give you a bit of a visual, and I have the transits listed on the left side of the screen for each week. So I've broken down this monthly horoscope by week. Now, I do just want to touch on some energies that we're moving out of. That last week of February, we had that Mercury Cazimi with Saturn, which was very unique and quite dynamic. Now, that was in your fifth house of children, creativity, passion, romance, hobbies, interests, what you do for fun, everything you enjoy, and what lights you up is in that fifth house. So there may have been some karmic endings and completions in this area of life. There may have been, usually with Mercury Cazimis, we get some type of insight or clarity or understanding with something. This could have to do with some type of romantic connections or what you desire and need within romantic connections. It could have to do with changing what truly lights you up and what you find joy in. And so I would love to hear your stories in the comments below with this transit, as it is unique. And just for my own research purposes, I'm wondering, how everyone moved through this and what showed up for everybody. But this was in your fifth house. And so there is quite a lot of focus, on children or on your creative ventures and pursuits, even romance and pleasure. Now, I also want to mention that March is going to be our last month with having all planets direct. And actually, once we get to about the middle of March, we're going to have Mercury enter pre-shadow, which we will be getting into in this horoscope. But we really want to be taking advantage of all of this forward moving energy while we have it and really get things in motion, put things in place for the year if you have not done so yet. So March 1st, we have the Sun sextile to Jupiter and also Venus sextiling Chiron. Now, this is really interesting, having the Sun in your fifth house sextiling Jupiter, which is in your seventh house of relationships. There really can be some beautiful support or insight coming in at this time with your one-on-one connections, or even some type of insight or clarity around the direction that you're moving in with your creative pursuits or children or romantic connections. Now, with this Venus sextile to Chiron, I really like this because we're moving out of that North Node Chiron conjunction, which was a 2-week transit back in February. So we're just kind of coming off of that. And we've all been going through this amazing amount of personal, healing and self-development and personal growth. And so with Venus sextiling Chiron, there really can be some type of support coming in to help you with that process. Now, on the second, we're going to have Venus square Uranus. Venus is in Aquarius in your fourth house of home, family, property, and real estate. And when Venus forms a square to Uranus, there can be something possibly unexpected showing up around the home that you're having to address, or with family that you're having to address. Venus also, generally rules money, finances, relationships, and Venus is the ruler of your seventh house of relationships. So there can be something unexpected or disruptive showing up with your relationships or one-on-one connections. And also, Venus rules your 12th house and is also currently the ruler of that south node. And we're going to get into the nodes and eclipses because at the end of March, we have an eclipse in Libra. So we'll be talking about all that energy in this horoscope. But this can be something showing up, bringing it's almost like Uranus is shaking something to the surface so that you can release what is no longer in alignment. And this could be a letting go of something because it is that south node. Venus is currently the ruler of that south node right now. This can also have to do because because that south node is in the 12th house, becoming aware of your own self-sabotaging tendencies, how you can get in your own way, and releasing that, kind of shedding it. I see the visual of like shedding this skin and maybe even something that's been holding you back in some way. Now, on the 8th, we have Mars squaring Uranus, and Mars is your co-ruler, your Scorpio rising. So you're ruled by Mars and Pluto. So when Mars forms a square to Uranus, there really can be something unexpected showing up for you with your direction, Mars being your chart ruler, which really signifies you, your personality, your character, your physical body, your appearance. There really can be something showing up with you the self that you're having to address that is quite unexpected, quite disruptive because it is chaotic. And we're going to see this collectively. But we're also, going through this in our own way as well. Mars still being in that fourth house, it could have to do with home and family, property, real estate, moving maybe unexpectedly. It could definitely be showing up in that way. Now, on that same day, we're going to have Mercury conjunct Neptune and the Sun sextile Uranus. So this shows that there's going to be confusion. There's no clear path ahead right now. This is not a time to be making any rash decisions or jumping into anything, because of that Mercury conjunct Neptune. So this is a day we really just want to sit with the energy. We don't want to be, making any intense decisions or, taking a sudden direction. I feel like taking a sudden direction into a new path, because there's no clear path ahead right now. So we really just have to sit with this energy and ride the wave. What we do want to do is lean on that Sun sextile to Uranus, which is really going to help us navigate the Mars square to Uranus. So, doing what you love, maybe leaning on your hobbies, your interests, what you enjoy doing day to day, or spending time with your children. Now, on the 9th, we have Mercury entering Aries. So Mercury is going to enter your sixth house, and this is where Mercury is going to station retrograde. Mercury is going to station retrograde April 1st. And so Mercury is starting to enter Aries. And as we move through March, we'll get into that pre-shadow period. Now, on the 10th, we have the new moon in Pisces and Mercury sextile Pluto. Now, this new moon in Pisces is going to be in your fifth house of, again, children, creativity, your passions, pleasure, hobbies, interests, all of that, everything you enjoy doing. And so this is a great time to set intentions for those themes and topics. We also want to keep in mind that with this new moon in Pisces, and I'll be talking a lot more about this in my new moon in Pisces forecast. So make sure you watch for that. I also get into all 12 rising signs, but we're having an eclipse at the end of the year in Pisces. And so really pay attention to what is showing up for you at this time, because we're eventually, once we get into 2025, we're going to have the nodes enter Virgo and Pisces. And this is almost like the precursor to that. So, be very intentional with the intentions that you're setting. And this is also when we start to enter eclipse season, because we have an eclipse at the end of March. So after the 10th, we're really going to feel the energy shift and change and become a lot more heavier. Now, once we get into that second week of March on the 11th, we have Venus entering Pisces, and Venus is exalted in Pisces. She loves being in Pisces. And this is where you could form maybe some romantic connections. I mean, the energy is definitely here to support that. Or maybe you're focusing more on your creative pursuits or children. Now, remember, we do have Saturn here, so the energy does feel a little different, but I've been now I know it can show up very differently, but I love, the positive, more optimistic way of kind of expressing this Venus Saturn energy in Pisces is just forming a lot of really beautiful one-on-one romantic connections, or, just connections in general. Now, on the 16th and 17th, we have the Sun conjunct Neptune, and I really love this for spiritual work, energy work, doing a lot of the sun represents our life force, energy, and consciousness, and Neptune is, the planet of spirituality. And so this really is a great day to do a lot of energy healing. Then we get to the third week of March, and on the 18th, this is when we have Mercury enter pre-shadow. Mercury is going to conjunct that North Node, and Mercury is actually going to station direct right on top of the North Node. So there is a lot that we are rethinking and reevaluating when it has to do with a new path forward. Because remember that North Node represents a new direction. This is something new, something unknown, but very fated and karmic. And so, we want to pay attention on the 18th and after the 18th until Mercury stations retrograde, because we're going to be revisiting these themes and topics. So start to pay attention to, what is showing up. And this is in your sixth house of work, health, and daily routine. So there may be a lot of rethinking the routines that you have day to day at work or at home, and really wanting to, shift and change those routines up. Now, on the 19th or 20th, depending on your time zone, we have the sun entering Aries. And this is when we start a brand new zodiacal new year. So, this is a great time to be very intentional, set your intentions and goals for, the next 12 months. Because this is the astrological new year. So, this is where we really feel that energy of wanting to move forward, wanting to implement, wanting to initiate. Now, also on the 20th, we're going to have Mercury conjunct Chiron. So we have been moving through, a lot of this healing energy. And this is where there could be, some insights or, new thoughts around your healing journey. On the 21st, we have Venus conjunct Saturn, and that is when we really can form those beautiful committed partnerships or just commitments in general. Saturn represents responsibilities, commitments, really dedicating yourself to something here, maybe really deciding that you're going to focus and move forward on some creative pursuit or venture. Now, on the 22nd, we have Mars entering Pisces. So, this is going to shift the energy up quite significantly because Mars rules our motivation, willpower, and drive. And being in Pisces, it does kind of suppress that a little bit. It may be a little bit more difficult to find that, internal energy to really get motivated. Now, having Mars in the fifth house could bring conflict with children. So, we do want to watch for that. It could bring, conflict or busyness around those fifth house themes and topics. And then we get to the 25th of March and we have our full moon lunar eclipse in Libra. So I've touched on the nodes a little bit, but we had the North Node and the South Node enter Aries in Libra July of 2023. And we had our solar eclipse in Libra back in October of 2023. Now you have the South Node here, and the South Node indicates a releasing, a letting go, or something coming back from the past. So think back to October of 2023. What was showing up for you? What were you moving through? There is more to that story showing up with this full moon. So, I always look at the nodes. It takes the nodes about 18 months to transit the sign. So they're in, the same sign for about 18 months. And and the nodes represent where we're having the eclipses. And so every time we have an eclipse, it's like more energy and change to the story that is playing out in these areas of life. And so on this eclipse, and remember, you're going to feel this a couple weeks before and a couple weeks after, you will feel the buildup to the change, to the releasing and letting go of whatever, is going on in this area of life. And the 12th house has to do with, very karmic energy, spirituality, things in places that are hidden. The 12th house can suppress energy. Hospitals, asylums, retreat centers are all in the 12th house. The 12th house also has to do with how we get in our own way, self-sabotage, self-undoing, addictions, things like that. And so there can be, maybe becoming aware of certain aspects of yourself, how you get in your own way or how you hold yourself back. There could be, some understanding to that. Now, on the 27th, we have Venus sextiling Uranus. So when Venus forms a sextile to Uranus, I look at this as some really beautiful, unexpected support coming in. And this could be from some type of one-on-one connection because Venus is the ruler of that seventh house and you have Uranus in your seventh house. So there could be some romantic connection form. There could be some type of like leveling up or opportunity within a romantic connection that's already been developing. So really can be quite beautiful. Now, Scorpio, I hope this helps you move through the energies for March. And thank you so much for joining me. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you align with my energy and enjoy my content. And don't forget to comment your astrology stories down below with some of these transits. I would love to hear. Thank you so much for joining me, and I will connect with you in the next one.